Alright, before I may have said that I had a review on this, and I thought I had done a review, but I guess I didn't because I looked at my channel and it wasn't there, so I know you guys have wanted to see this. It's my Glock Knife, and as you can see, I have some surface rust issues here. Oh well, it's nothing too serious, it won't take very much. Just some WD-40, you'll get that off, but yep, this is my Glock Model 78 field knife. Made in Austria. It's got the little Glock logo right there. It's got the Glock logo right there. It's got the Glock logo right there. This thing's covered in the Glock logo. And I actually like that, so yep, I'm going to be taking a look at it here for you guys. And, yeah. Yeah, so this is the Glock Model 78 field knife. It's actually quite an excellent knife, especially for what you pay for it. I've seen these knives, the most I've ever seen one for was about $42, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the most I've ever seen one of these go for. So, I mean, under 50 bucks. I mean, above 25, but under 50 bucks. So they're around, just like if you're expecting to buy one, I'd try to expect about $35 price range, around 35 bucks. But these things are really, really cool knives, so I'm sure anybody would pay 35 bucks for something this cool. You're going to have to put down the camera real quick so I can show you one of the really neat features. Here's my knife here. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's why. Huh, well, I got some service in there too, but yeah, I took off this end cap that was in this hole. But now that's open, and as you can see, this thing is actually really rusty. I'm going to have to WD-40 this today. So yeah, it's got a secret compartment. It goes in, I'm going to use my paraframe pointer today. It goes into about this line. And the blade, I don't know what's going on in the handle. I'm not sure if the tang goes all the way back and meets the capsule here, or if the tang only goes in this far. I mean, I really don't know whether the tang system is on this knife. But nonetheless, the handle is the handle breaking is probably the last thing you're gonna have to worry about. Glock polymer is basically indestructible. I mean, this stuff, it's crazy strong. I mean, like this stuff, you can just bend it and mold, like it just works. No matter what you're gonna put it through, the Glock polymer is gonna work. But of course, like I said before, the one thing you're gonna have to worry about is, unlike this knife is made of stainless steel. This is a high carbon spring steel. This stuff, it's gonna rust. You're gonna have to keep it lubed up and oiled up and everything. Otherwise, it's gonna rust on you. But, alright. I'm gonna put that cap back on. Alright, got my cap back on there. My cap's pretty beaten up. Actually, I'm going to have to see if you can buy more of those caps, because I would actually really like to have another one. I wonder if somebody makes them out of metal with like a rubber outline. I don't know. All I know is that this knife is excellent. Alright, the retention system. My retention is modified. Don't look at this and be like, oh, that's the retention system, that's crappy. No, it's got a really good retention system. The original retention system, once you put this knife in there, like most people think that it's a two-hand opening and you need to bring your other hand around and push it open, but I mean, I used to open this thing one hand all the time by simply putting my pointer finger right there, putting my thumb onto the latch, pulling back with my pointer finger and pushing up on this latch with my thumb, and then bam, it would just pop right there. But mine is modified to where if I can get a good enough grip on it, it can just, you don't even have to do anything with the latch. It'll come undone. Alright, so let's take a quick look at just the sheath itself. Alright, mine, of course, there's a little bit of 550 cord because it was, this thing wasn't being it wasn't pushing down hard enough to retain the knife, so I put some 550 cord to make this push down harder, and it worked. 550 cord is infinitely helpful. Alright, and here, yeah, it's like, I mean, you can carve your name into it, you can do whatever. I happen to carve my name, Edward, into there. It's got that nib right there with the hole in it, so you can strap it to your leg so it doesn't flop around as much. It's got an awesome belt loop kind of thing. I mean, it's big enough to fit onto a web belt. It's got that, see that little part where it indents in there? That little thing in there is like a little, it just basically cinches down onto whatever belt it's on so that it won't move back and forth as much. It locks it, it basically tries to lock the knife into place. And I've found that that actually does its purpose very well. Some people don't like them for when they're using full-on web belts because it doesn't fit. But yeah, it's got a nice drainage hole, so it won't retain water inside of there. I wouldn't necessarily use this as a diving knife because of the high carbon steel will rust. But I mean, this rust was from just cutting through wood and stuff and it going into dirt, and the dirt holds moisture and all, you know, so, and that was actually about a month ago, so I'm surprised that the rust just now showed up, because I looked at this knife the other day and it wasn't rusty at all. But yeah, my machete was having the same problem too. My machete's made out of spring steel too, so yeah. Alright, so now it's time to get down to the knife itself. The blade, I think, okay, this is just going off of memory, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. The blade length is 6.5 inches, if my memory's correct. And the overall length of the knife is a foot long, if I'm correct. Maybe that's not right. I'm not 100% on this stuff at the moment, though. All I know is that the handle is extremely comfortable. It gives good grip. I mean, it reminds me of a K-bar handle. If you really look at it, just more contoured. It's thinner this way. It's got this nice bulge. I mean, it just fits in your hand awesome. The edge on these knives, when you buy it, it's dull. It's honestly not very sharp at all. You can't even paper test with it. It won't cut the paper. But me and my friends, we had to reprofile this one, or me and one of my buddies reprofiled this one up at the tip, especially the tip on this knife. Just this whole little curved part right here is extremely dull because it's so thick. The knife's about 1/4 inch thick, I think, is what they say. It's very thin in profile. It's almost like reminiscing of a mixture of, like it's almost like a mixture of a K-bar and an M7 bayonet, in my opinion. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And then with a little bit of Austrian twist into there, I guess. And that Glock polymer, I mean, the handle, I wouldn't worry about the handle breaking ever. I mean, if you see those destruction tests, I mean, they smash on these things. They would smash the handle with hammers and whatnot, and the worst that happens to it is maybe it gets dinged up a little like my handle has. Like that. Little stuff happens to it. Yeah, so it's an excellent knife for the money. It's totally worth it. I highly recommend this knife. If you're like looking in the business for a a knife that will just keep working, a knife that'll keep working as long as you will. With some reprofiling, this is a knife. Alright guys, well the sprinklers just came on and I don't want to get caught in that, so I'm out of here. See you guys.